Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Uncle Frank, and I am not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Well, the end of May is finally here, which means June is just around the corner and the year is almost half over already. Historically speaking, the S&P 500 has shown mixed results in the week following Memorial Day. Some data suggests a slight positive average gain of 0.52% since Memorial Day became the last Monday in May of 1971. However, since 2010, the index has averaged a 0.38% loss during that week. As you know, the stock market and the bond market are closed on Monday for the holiday. In recent years, the week following Memorial Day has been more bearish, with fewer than half of the returns being positive. Specific sectors like consumer discretionary, meaning travel and entertainment, energy, meaning gas and utilities, and retail can be influenced by the holiday weekend's impact on consumer spending and travel habits. The stock market and the bond market are closed on Monday, May 26 for Memorial Day. But on Tuesday, we have two Fed members speaking in Japan. In fact, Fed members have scheduled appointments to speak every day this week except the holiday. And I think I know why. On Tuesday, durable goods orders at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then the indicator that has become the biggest joke of all in recent months, consumer confidence. We'll see that at 10 a.m. On Wednesday, May 28th, we'll get the minutes from the last Fed meeting at 2 p.m. Let me save you from the suspense. Many Fed members are going to be concerned about tariff negotiations and renewed inflation risks. That's why we're not going to cut rates, not because we shouldn't cut, but because we hate Trump more than we like the U.S. economy and its citizens. But let's face it, this day is all about NVIDIA's earnings after the bell. On Thursday, May 28th, the action begins at the bell at 8:30 a.m. with initial jobless claims and GDP's first revisions. Oh, they're going to be rooting for it to worsen so they can talk about recession risks all day long. 5 Fed members are scheduled to speak on Thursday, so they're coming out with both barrels blazing to defend their hypocrisy. And then Friday, May 30th finally arrives. Let's call it Uncle Frank Friday. All at 8:30 a.m., personal income, consumer spending, and then the big dog, the Fed's favorite. The entire PCE data group drops, along with retail and wholesale inventories, the Chicago Business Barometer, and another reading on consumer sentiment. On top of all that, there's a special treat before the bell. Kohl's, one of the most shorted stocks in the world, will release their earnings. So as you can imagine, I'll be rooting for that company to surprise, surprise, surprise. Okay, guys, let's start here. This will help explain the bullshit coming out of the financial press. On your screen, the median S&P 500 stock short interest as a percentage of market cap. That red arrow marks when the WEF meeting was over in Davos. You remember when they launched the DeepSeek AI narrative that clobbered NVIDIA and big tech. Of course, they knew tariff negotiations were next, so everyone got short big, and the financial media did the rest of the work with an assist from consumer confidence. The Fed Reserve jumped in, promising not to cut rates. So now you know why Wall Street is short when liquidity is drying up. Just watch Donahue George's videos on the reverse repo. The hedgies got good and short, and the prime brokers back them up. They don't want to rally, and the added benefit or motive is that they get to frustrate the president. Now add a surprise downgrade of U.S. debt from Moody's. That's why no matter how much amazing economic news comes out of the administration, it doesn't budge the equity markets. If you think Wall Street is surprised by any of this, you just don't have eyes to see. So what does Wall Street want you to think right now? Just read Wall Street Breakfast and they'll tell you. Wall Street on Friday closed out a topsy-turvy week with losses of nearly 3%, driven by U.S. President Donald Trump's policy decisions. No mention of all the positive developments like out of the Middle East or trillions in new investment commitments, none of that. The focus of the week was Trump's one big, beautiful bill act, a sweeping, multi-trillion-dollar tax reform package spanning over 1,000 pages. The legislation passed the U.S. House by one vote. The final tally was 215 to 214, and now awaits Senate discussion and approval. Okay, you see, that could be interpreted as good news, so you have to shit on it quickly. Concerns over the implications of the bill on the ballooning U.S. fiscal deficit fueled a bruising bond sell-off on Wednesday. Yeah, you see, when Democrats are in power, we don't talk about the deficit. But ask yourself this, who's cutting wasteful government spending right now? Trump and Musk. Any mention of the Fed refusing to cut rates? Any mention of that out-of-left-field ratings cut by Moody's? No, it's all Trump's fault. Well, with the bill getting through the U.S. House, Trump turned his attention back to trade matters on Friday. After nearly 2 weeks of calm on that front following a surprise U.S.-China truce, Trump threatened new tariffs on iPhone maker Apple and the European Union. Now, here's what Wall Street wants you to know. His actions reminded market participants that a trade war escalation can still come out of the blue. They could add that forcing Apple and other companies like Merck and Taiwan Semiconductor moving their manufacturing units to the U.S. could spark an economic boom for the economy, but they won't. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I want you to know every Democrat voted against the largest middle-class tax cut in history. They voted no on no tax on tips. They voted no on no tax on overtime. They voted no on child tax credits. They voted no on small business relief. They voted no on slashing the death tax. They voted no to boosting take-home pay by $12,000 for American families. You remember all that the next time you vote. They would rather spend your money on wars, give it away to foreign countries like Ukraine, IRS agents, and gender reassignment surgeries in Guatemala. Also grabbing the spotlight this week was Bitcoin. The world's largest cryptocurrency hit a new record high after riding a wave of momentum from positive regulatory developments in the U.S. It topped 111,000 on the 15th anniversary of the first commercial transaction that used the crypto. What about your crypto pick, Uncle Frank? XRP? Nah, you see, we're still in court for some unknown reason. Every other case the SEC had got tossed, but this one is still lingering around, right? So even though XRP actually has a use case, is far faster, is far less expensive, and is a better project in every measurable metric than Bitcoin, we're going to keep it on a leash to protect Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana for now. More on that later. Anyway, for the week, the benchmark S&P index retreated 2.6%. The tech-heavy NASDAQ slipped 2.5%, and the blue-chip Dow also shed 2.5%. So for the week, what index got the worst of it? The small caps, Russell 2000, lost 3.5%, while the VIX jumped 29.3% to 22.29. What sector got the worst of it? Energy losing 4.4%, followed by tech shedding 3.5%. Who did the best on the world stage last week? Hong Kong gaining 1.1%, and the worst, France losing 1.9%. Commodities and bonds, crude oil WTI lost 1.7% to 60.93 a barrel. Gold added 5.6% to 3365.8 per ounce for the week, and the 10-year bond yield shed 0.2 bips to 4.507. On the crypto side, Bitcoin gained 5% for the week, Ethereum gained 3.2%, and XRP lost 0.6%. You see how that works? So where the hell are we now year to date? A timely question. The S&P has lost 1.12%. The Dow has shed 1.86%. The Nasdaq down 2.82% so far, and the Russell, the small caps, have lost 8.6% year to date. I want you guys to know a rate cut would really boost the small caps because those small companies typically have more debt than earnings. Not to mention, it would give relief to U.S. consumers who are holding record credit card debt. A little payment relief would be nice right now, but we can't have that. So guys, should we listen to Wall Street? Is everything going to hell in a handbasket, or are trillions in new U.S. investment, cutting billions in wasteful spending, securing better trade deals in our southern border, and cutting taxes going to actually work? We shall see, right? But how are Uncle Frank's picks doing? Another timely question. Well, everyone that follows this channel knows Uncle Frank is cuckoo for quantum stocks, starting with D-Wave up 95.63% year to date, but over 1,440% over the past year. Rigetti Computing down 29.9% year to date, but still up 1,210% over the past year. IonQ up 6% for the year, or 441.99% over the past year. But my number one pick for 2025 has been Archer Aviation. I bought every dip from 3 to 11, and I'm not going to stop. Not investment advice or advisor, but ACHR is up 10.66% year to date and over 220% over the past year. My crypto pick, XRP, is a very frustrating trade, so it's easy to forget it hasn't done that bad. It's up 12.06% year to date, which is a hell of a lot more than our stock indices right now, and over 344% over the past year. On this day 5 years ago, XRP was at 19.5 cents, so up about 1,037% from there. And are the meme stocks back? Both AMC and GME had interesting weeks, yo. There's the hourly charts that show the action for the entire week. AMC got as high as 334 before closing Friday at 324, flat for the day. But AMC added 11.02% for the past 5. GME did even better, topping at 33.21 for the week and closing at 33.03 Friday, up 2.17 or 7.03%. GME added 16.31% for the past 5, and a lot of people are pointing to Bitcoin and Wall Street liquidity issues for the recent spike on both stocks. Now, as always, AMC is banking on a big holiday weekend. New movies at AMC theaters this Memorial Day weekend, so maybe the stock can build on this momentum. From the article, as a precursor to summertime movie season, AMC Theaters has a lineup of highly anticipated films this Memorial Day weekend. From action-packed thrillers to heartfelt family adventures, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Lilo and Stitch, Final Destination: Bloodlines, and The Last Rodeo. Now, this is not investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. I will never recommend you buy, sell, or hold any stock or cryptocurrency. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. You should only speculate on high-risk investments with money you could afford to lose, and you should always consult with your financial advisor before investing. Speaking only for myself, I'm going to add to my small quantum positions on dips and hold them because I think quantum is just getting started. And I believe the big chip makers, Intel, AMD, Taiwan Semi, Nvidia, etc., are becoming like a cartel. And the last thing a cartel wants is another member to split their market share with. Am I right? So I think these smaller quantum players, the ones that continue to make progress, will ultimately be absorbed rather than blossom into full-blown competitors that can offer shit that the big guys can't. That brings me to Archer Aviation, which I've always felt is more than just an eVTOL manufacturer. They are selling a new way to travel. That's an important difference. That makes them a disruptor. They are also an airline. They are also now a defense contractor. And I believe that $6 billion order book is going to grow. Some of my critics argue that we can only build planes in Georgia and California. But I quickly remind them they may also begin manufacturing in Abu Dhabi. Not to mention our manufacturing partner Stellantis has access to 31 manufacturing facilities in North America alone, including 18 in the United States, 6 in Canada, and 7 in Mexico. In total, Stellantis operates or has access to over 50 manufacturing facilities. So my critics can kiss my ass. I still believe that eVTOLs will replace the light-duty helicopter. I believe there are many uses for eVTOLs we haven't even scratched yet. Deliveries, ambulatory, and obviously military applications. So this is all just starting out. I believe Archer is a $30 stock by the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. That's July 14, 2028. So that's 37 months away. Now, I believe it can hit that target before then on a number of catalysts. The first being in the air on a commercial basis in Abu Dhabi, getting final FAA approval, being in the air in New York City, flying people from Manhattan to the area airports with United, and finally, whatever they've got cooking with Anduril, the government, and Palantir could blow the roof off the stock as well. Remember, in a recent video, Archer is one of the top 100 shorted stocks, number 96 as of this recording. So any one of those catalysts could bring some action. Don't forget, they're building a hybrid plane for the military named Mothra, and Anduril itself could be one of the hottest IPO candidates out there. Microsoft just handed its $22 billion contract to Anduril to develop an integrated visual augmentation system for the Army. We may be in the right place at the right time, guys. Anyway, on to crypto. My biggest position by far remains XRP. I have a $5 price target on it for 2025 based on an avalanche of potential catalysts. Number one, being finally getting out of court and removing the stink of the U.S. government and its bought and paid for courts and fake regulators. Then I've got about 20 ETFs in the pipeline and potential global adoption prospects. I also have the ISO deadlines in July and November, so I decided to add positions in Algo, XDC, and HBAR on this recent dip to diversify and boost my potential returns from the group. That's my story, guys, and I'm sticking with it until further notice. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.